In today's video, I'm comparing the Acorns investing app versus the Stash investing app. I'll talk about their pros and cons and the unique advantages each one has. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Erik of Investing Apps TV, and on this channel we talk investing apps, investing tutorials, and investing principles. So if you're new here today, definitely consider subscribing to catch future videos just like this one. Alright guys, so with that being said, we're now going to hop into the comparison between the Stash app and the Acorns app. Alright guys, so here we are now inside both the Stash and the Acorns investment app. So before I get into their differences, I first want to cover some of the similarities between the two apps. So for starters, both the Stash and the Acorns app I think are really great apps for beginners, probably two of the best investment apps for beginners. And the reason is because they both have a low cost of entry. So for example, if you go to a regular brokerage such as Scottrade, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, or even Robinhood for that matter, you're going to have to purchase individual stocks, and individual stocks can range anywhere from $50 to $100 to $200 and beyond per share. So that can really add up, especially if you're a beginner new to the stock market. So as you can see here on the screens of them, with the Acorns app right here, as you can see, the lowest amount you could invest is $5. You could again set up a one-time investment or a recurring investment, or you could even link a credit card or debit card to it, but I'll talk more about that later. But the main thing is you can get started with as low as $5 investing in the Acorns app. So that's pretty cool, definitely great for beginners. And again, it's the same on the Stash investment app. You could get started with $5 as well, and it's a really great way to get started investing for beginners for sure. Now, the next thing that both of these apps have in common is that they both have learning portals for beginners, little helpful articles to help you learn about the stock market, learn about investing in general, and investing principles as well. So let me show you those right now. So here on the Stash app, if you go to the menu and you go to the Learn tab, it's the third one down, click on Learn. That will take you to a bunch of helpful articles. As you can see here, Stash is made and they're constantly uploading new articles to their app here. Acorns similarly also has a portal. And this one, if you click on the left-hand menu and you go down to where it says Grow, this one's called Grow. If you click on Grow, this will open up also their own version of articles that they made on investing principles. So both of these apps are going to give you plenty, as you can see, plenty of articles, especially if you're a beginner, to help you get started. So they both definitely come up big in that way. So I like that as well for beginners. Now, another similarity between the Stash and the Acorns investment app is that both of these apps also have built-in projection calculators built into the app. So let me explain what I mean by that. So if you go back to the Stash investing app here and go to the main menu, and let's go home. On the home page, if you click on Potential, this will show you a projection calculator in the Stash app that will show you a projection of your investments over 1 year, 5 years, and even 10 years after 10 years. And you can adjust this calculator by adjusting your monthly deposit. So the default is if you want to deposit $100 a month, but you could lower that. You could even raise that as well. And as you raise or lower that, you'll see the projections from 1 year, 5 year, and 10 year, they all adjust as well. So, and you could also adjust, furthermore, you could adjust the growth potential. So right now it's set at a 0% growth potential, but on average, the stock market, the S&P 500, which is basically the US stock market, has a history of raising about 7% on average a year over decades and decades. So some years more, some years less, but on average over decades and decades, about 7% a year. So you could set this to, 7% for a realistic expectation, but you could set it to more or less depending on how you see the market going in the coming years. And again, you adjust that and you adjust your monthly deposit amount, and you could see roughly a projection. And again, these numbers aren't guaranteed. They're not going to be exact, but it's a projection nonetheless, which helps give you an idea and also some motivation to see where your investing is going to. So likewise, the Acorns investment app also has a built-in projection calculator. Again, just go to the left-hand menu and you want to go to Home, and you're going to go to Potential. All right, so theirs is a little bit different. It's more of a curve graph, but you can adjust different factors as well. So if you go down to Change My Future, you see this will open up some different things you can adjust. So this is asking you, what would your recurring investment be? You could have it set to $5, $10, $30. This is you could do it a day, a week, a month, and all of these numbers will adjust your projection calculator, your projection of your investments and how they grow over time. Again, they both share a projection calculator, which is pretty awesome. So thirdly, another similarity is both the Stash and the Acorns investment app let you set up weekly or monthly auto deposits. So, which is really how investing without having to think about it. On Stash here, it's called stashing. So if you go to auto stash, that will let you set a set amount. You could set the frequency to every week, every month, and you could deposit into certain investments within your Stash account. So that's pretty awesome. You could set that up. It's very easy to set up if you want to invest without thinking about it. Likewise, on the Acorns investment app, if you go to the menu and you go to invest, you could set up a one-time, or here it is, recurring. So this is a recurring investment. Again, you could do weekly, daily, monthly, and you could set the amount. If you don't like these, you could set other amount. If you want to do an odd amount like $7 a week, you can do that as well. But the point is, both of them let you auto invest without having to think about it. That's a pretty handy feature as well. So now, before I hop into the cons of both these apps, I want to briefly cover the unique advantages that each of these apps offer. So probably the unique advantage of Stash that Acorns doesn't have is that they allow you to invest. If I go to invest, they allow you to invest in ETFs. Right now, they currently have, I think, like 40 to 45 ETFs, which are actually exchange traded funds, which are basically basket of stocks. So it's very diversified, less risky as opposed to individual stocks. A bunch of different sectors, areas of the market, such as if you want to do like social media mania, that will cover social media companies such as Twitter, Facebook, companies like that. You can see their performance over the past year, 5 years, 10 years, things like that. Acorns doesn't have that. They don't let you invest in ETFs, but I'll talk about Acorns in a minute. Another unique advantage of Stash compared to Acorns is because it lets you invest in these individual ETFs, it gives you a lot more investment options. Acorns is very simple. There's really only 6 portfolios that Acorns lets you invest in. So if you go back to Acorns now, and you go to your performance in the Acorns app, that will show you the portfolios. So right now I'm in the aggressive portfolio on Acorns, but you can adjust this. You can choose from 6 different portfolios. I'm currently in the aggressive portfolio on Acorns, but you can choose the aggressive, moderately aggressive, moderately conservative, and conservative. So as you can see, there's really only 5 investment options on Acorns. So it's a lot less investment options as opposed to Stash, where again, you can choose from over 40 investment options. So that's one of the unique advantages to Stash that Acorns doesn't have. But again, Acorns is a lot more simple. There's less to think about as well. So another unique advantage to Stash is that Stash has a performance tracker. So let me show you that. Back on Stash here, if I go back to the home menu and I click on balance, and I go back to Acorns, and I can go to, let's go to performance in the menu there. Here we are on both the Acorns and Stash performance. Now, they both have a performance tracker actually, but I think it's a little more detailed on the Acorns investment app. It gives you actual percentages over the past month, 3 months, 6 months, year, and all time. Whereas on Stash, they do give you a little bar graph here, but they don't give you any percentages, or, I mean, they have a little chart there with dollar amounts, but they don't have percentages. So I think I like the Acorns performance tracker a little bit better than the Stash performance tracker. It's a little more detailed. Acorns has a couple unique investment advantages as well. While it has less investing options, it does have something cool that it allows you to link your credit or debit card to your Acorns account and basically invest the spare change from your everyday purchases. So where it says Roundups, go to Roundups, and right in there, you're going to add a Roundup account. It's basically a credit or debit card that you use for your everyday purchases, and any spare change is going to round up to the nearest dollar and invest that in your Acorns account. So if you buy, for example, a soda for $1.50, that extra 50 cents, rounding up to $2, that extra 50 cents is going to go into your Acorns account, and it's going to automatically invest into your portfolio depending on which one you chose. So that's a unique feature that's really cool that no other investment app has, and Stash doesn't have that as well. Another unique advantage of Acorns that Stash doesn't have is something called Found Money. If you go to the side menu and click on where it says Found Money, this is a portal built into the Acorns app with a lot of businesses and companies that will invest into your Acorns account for you shopping with them. And there's a lot of popular, well-known companies in here. I think I even saw like Walmart down here, eBay, Finish Line, Forever 21, GameStop, Groupon, really, it just goes on and on and on. Jet.com, it just goes on. Lyft, they'll invest $15 back into your Acorns account. Macy's 5% back. So that's pretty awesome stuff. Like I said, Stash doesn't have this. It's unique to Acorns. It's called Found Money, where just for shopping at places you normally would, they'll invest the cash back basically back into your Acorns account for you to invest. So that's an awesome, unique advantage of Acorns. Now I want to cover a couple of the cons of both apps. So firstly, when it comes to security, both apps are safe. They're both legitimate apps. They're both registered brokerages with the SIPC. You can always check on the SIPC website. They're both insured up to $500,000. So they're both registered brokerages. So they're safe. But in terms of app security, one thing I will say about both of these apps is they both have a PIN. If you close out the app and you open the app back up, you'll have to log back in with a 4-digit PIN. But one thing I wish both of these apps had that they don't have is two-factor authentication. Now, it's not uncommon because most brokerage apps actually today don't have two-factor authentication. TD Ameritrade, for example, does not have two-factor authentication. Robinhood, however, on the other hand, does have two-factor authentication. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically whenever you log into your brokerage account, they'll send a text message to your phone. So that's a nice two-factor authentication security setting. Unfortunately, neither one of these apps has at the moment, but I'm hoping they build that in very soon. In terms of the other con of both of these apps, the Stash and the Acorns app, neither one lets you invest in individual stocks. Again, if I go back to Stash and I go to invest, as you can see, you could invest in ETFs. Again, it's not such a bad thing, especially for beginners. I personally prefer investing in ETFs because I find them less risky and more diversified. And, they're very solid. You're investing in solid companies and different sectors of the market that you believe in. Acorns, on the other hand, you're also investing in essentially an ETF. It's a breakdown. As you can see, the aggressive portfolio in Acorns has real estate, emerging market stock, large cap, small cap, and international stocks as well. So some might see it as a con that you cannot invest in individual stocks. If you want to do that, I recommend checking out the Robinhood app. You can invest in individual stocks there, but again, you cannot on either one of these apps. Again, both are great for beginners. They offer low entry points, $5 increments. You can get started investing. Both have unique advantages, as I talked about. It really comes down to which one you like more. Do you want to invest from your spare change from your everyday purchases, or do you want a little bit more investing options with Stash, where there's more ETFs there? You really can't go wrong with either one. I personally use both, as well as some other brokerage accounts as well. Everyone has their own preference. And that pretty much sums up today's comparison between the Acorns app and the Stash app. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Which investment app do you like better and why? And if you would like to see more tutorials on either the Acorns investing app or the Stash investing app, feel free to check out my playlist of each of them right over here to the right. So thanks guys for checking out today's video comparing the Acorns app and the Stash investing app. Definitely subscribe to catch new weekly videos on more investing apps, investing tutorials, and investing principles. And if you guys have any questions about the Acorns app or the Stash investing app, feel free to leave your questions down below, and as always, I'll be happy to answer those for you guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.